Hi guys, you're welcome to another interesting episode of the 100% Joy series. Today I'm going to talk about something that literally consumes me right now. As in, I can't help it. I talk about it day in, day out, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. But before I start, I'm going to tell you a story about this boy band I found a few months ago. These were 7 regular kids from Korea. They used to be regular kids from Korea, young teenagers who were auditioned and put together into a group by a company called Big Hit Entertainment. Now, they've existed, like I said, since 2010. The group was formed in 2010 in June, but they debuted in 2013. Funny enough, I had a whiff of their existence, I think in 2015 or 2016, when my dance instructors, I used to go for dance fitness class at the time, went for a competition, a K-pop competition in Korea. They were practicing day in, day out. And, I began to enjoy the groove to, the choreo. So I used to join them sometimes to do the choreo. But I never really, took notice of the boy band at the time. I loved the music, but I never really, looked at it a second time. And I guess it was because the journey I was on in my life at that point in time, I didn't need to learn anything from them at the time, or I wasn't ready to learn anything at the time. Because remember, when you're ready, the teacher or the master will appear, and God teaches us through different things. The most unlikely things are the things that He teaches us through and speaks to us through. But at that time, I wasn't ready to learn what I have learned from this boy band. The band is called BTS. That's the Bangtan Soyeon. Permit me if I didn't get that pronunciation right, but I'm trying my best, It's called BTS. Now, the BTS boys are a combination of 3 rappers and 4 vocalists. When they started off, it was tough. At a point, they actually even thought of disbanding at a point because it was tough. The company was going broke or was facing bankruptcy. They used to train like 12 to 15 hours a day because they put in so much work to bring the best of their talent and their work to their fans. They have one of the biggest fandoms in the world. I know that the last I checked, their fans were over 137 million all over the world. And their fans are so faithful and so dedicated to them because they come with a message. You see, it's not just a band that does entertainment. They came with a message. It's either that you're talking to their fans about loving themselves or speaking their truth or being themselves or being just who they are, being who they have been created to be, and just be themselves and express themselves the best way they can. A lot of people have talked about coming out of depression, changing their minds about taking their lives or, being inspired to be better and do better with their lives because of this band, their music and the message that comes with their music and their performance. It's amazing. I got so inspired by them when I came across them again a few months ago, and I started trying to read about them, research, about their success, what they were about, what their music was about, what the lyrics are about. And I found out that they weren't just any entertainment group. They took their time to do a lot of work. A lot of work went into what they were doing. A lot of work went into building their brands, and a lot of work is still going into building their brands. And I've noticed that even the fame they've been able to, achieve in the last few years has not deterred them or stopped them or made them slow down from doing better. Recently, they took a hiatus and they are beginning to pursue, individual projects, even though they're still keeping up to their obligations of, working together or, keeping up with their schedules as a team. It hit me not too long ago that what was the secret of these boys? Because I have been thinking about it. What is the secret of this success that they've registered? These are boys that they've won over 300 awards and they've been nominated for over 400 awards. They have spoken at the United Nations. I'm sure they're the first boy bands that have done that. And then they've been invited to the White House. Recently, I think it was in May, President Biden invited them to the White House to speak about Asian inclusion. And it's amazing how far they have come. They've received so many national and international awards, both in their country and outside their country. Their work has been recognized. They bring in billions of dollars into the Korean economy. It is amazing. And I thought to myself, what is the secret of this success? I was blown. In fact, a lot of people close to me thought, oh, this might be an obsession, but it wasn't. I was inspired. I was trying to find out, how is this possible? How did these boys move from here to here in this number of years, 9 years? And I found out it's one thing, one word, and it's called grit. Now, grit is a combination of passion and perseverance. Grit will take you farther than talent and intelligence will. Finding out about this word, grit, and what it entails and the components of this word. The word became my mantra, my prayer, my affirmation. It became everything to me. The word consumed me. And it was like I was starting a new chapter of my life again. When we come back, we're going to look at what grit is and why you need it in your life. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking about grit, but before I let you in on the juicy details, please hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any more episodes of my series. Okay, great. So that done. What is grit? Grit is a combination of passion. Passion is a deep knowledge of what you want. It's a sense of purpose. Now, what is purpose? Purpose is your why you walk the earth, what you're here to do, what you're meant to add, the value you're meant to add to humanity, what you're meant to do to further the overall goal of humanity, the legacy you're meant to leave behind. That is what your purpose is, your why. And your purpose is always embedded in your passion, what you love, what you're passionate about. Think about that thing that if I wake you up now in the middle of the night and say, do it, you will do it with so much joy, even if you're not getting paid for it. Now, that's your calling. That's your purpose. That is what you're here for. Whatever you enjoy doing so much that it doesn't matter whether you're paid for it or not. Something that you give so much of yourself that it makes you feel so happy, so content, so fulfilled. That is what you're here to do. That is your purpose. That is what you're meant to, the value you're meant to add to humanity. Now, the second thing is perseverance. Perseverance is you being able to stay focused, consistent, stay on course and push towards a particular goal with consistency and persistence. It's tough, no matter how tough it gets, no matter how hard it gets, no matter the distractions, no matter the discouragement, you keep going. Now, I found out that I'd allowed grit to play its hand a lot of times in my life with everything that I've been able to achieve. The books I've written, the movie I've shot, the projects I've been able to pull off, the things I've been able to create. I found out that grit had a major role to play in it. I just didn't know then that I was applying grit to my work. I was being a gritty person, because there are things that I have done today that are out there blessing people, that when I thought about doing them, people discouraged me. They told me, no, don't pursue this. Oh, there's nothing in this. Oh, don't do that. Oh, you can't achieve this. Oh, you're way past the time of doing that. And, I got so many words that could have discouraged me or keep me down from what I wanted to do. But I kept pushing because I had my eyes on the ball. I had my eyes on my goal and I kept pushing. And at the end of the day, I was able to go through with, what I wanted to do, achieve my goal and fulfill my dream. And the feeling is unequal. The way you feel when you look back and know that you climbed every mountain, you jumped over every hurdle, and you were able to make it happen. Life needs to be lived with a sense of urgency. And for you to be able to achieve your purpose and record success, you must be able to apply grit. You must be persistent. You must be ready to push against all odds. And you must be passionate about what you do. Funny, last year, the first person God drew my attention to, I'd never been a fan of football, but I fell in love with football last year because of one person, and it was Neymar. And I kept telling people that there's a passion this guy has that I can actually feel the energy when I watch him play. He's passionate about football. That's what has consumed him right from when he was a child, I remember a joke in one of his interviews where he said that apart from saying Papa, the first word he said was ball, or football or something. I know that was a joke, but it shows how consumed he was. He knew where he was going. He knew what he wanted. There was definiteness of purpose. He knew what he wanted to achieve with his life. He knew where he was going. He knew the path he was walking, and he put in the work. When he didn't have a childhood, when his friends would play and go out to play, he couldn't play because he had to go and train, and his father made sure he was training him in every aspect of football to make him the best out. And that's why he has a style and he stands out. Every other famous footballer will tell you that Neymar is the best dribbler when it comes to football. He's been able to carve a niche for himself in the industry. Why? Because of grit. He stayed consistent, he stayed persistent. His family went through so much, came from a very poor background. They had to struggle. His parents struggled. He struggled to get to where he was, but he stayed consistent, practicing day in, day out, and putting in the best, regardless of, what was the odds that were against him. And today, he's one of the most celebrated athletes in the world. When we come back, let's look at why you need grit in your life and the components of grit. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. I'm sure you noticed that I'm super excited on this particular episode because grit means a lot to me. Okay, so how do you develop grit? One of the first things you must know is your why, your purpose. You must have something you're working towards. You can't develop grit when you're all over the place. You have so many things you're juggling and you don't have something that you're working towards, some specific goal or some specific thing that you're working towards. In the process of working towards something in particular, you get to make a lot of stops. And that is why God hasn't put just one talent in us. He has put a lot of talents in us. But if you look at it, every talent he puts in you, the moment you start developing them and letting them come out, you find out that they are all connected and leading towards one singular goal. Now, my why is to help people. It gives me so much joy and happiness to help people. Anywhere I go, people find it easy to talk to me. Whenever I sit, strangers open up to me and tell me their innermost secrets. It's just who I am. And I've always known right from when I was younger, I love to help people work. But then I also knew that I was passionate about dance, about music, about acting, about writing. I was a full-blown creative. Now, if you looked at me doing each and every one of these things, you would look at, Joy, you're not focusing on one thing, you're all over the place. But you see, as the years went by and I kept, developing all these talents, I found out that they were all connected and were leading to one place. Me using what I create to still help people. Now, I became a certified coach and I'm training to become a therapist. Why? Because I know that I'm meant to help people. But for me, my work is going to come out in a different way. It's not just going to be me sitting in an office and then expecting people to sit opposite me and then we have the one-on-one conversations. The next thing you do is set realistic goals. You set your big goals. These are the things I want to achieve. I have huge goals. I have huge dreams, but I've set smaller goals to take me to my bigger goals, and then you have to, put down action steps. These steps you must follow through. Hold yourself accountable. You see, this is where grit comes in because it's persistence, consistency, and the work that you put in, the constant practice that now gets you, that you put into the action steps that gets you closer to achieving your goal and those goals that you set because of your why. So you must clarify those goals. Sieve them. Look at the ones that are actually not taking you off track, the ones that are not derailing you, and the ones that are leading you straight to where you're going. Now set them and work with them. Now this is where you now start applying grit. Every day, make sure that there's something you're doing significantly that is taking you closer to your goal. I came to a point where I discovered that whatever you create is not entirely out of your own intelligence. It comes from divine intelligence. We're not that smart on our own to do the things that we do. It comes from somewhere and it's called the divine intelligence. So that means that whatever you create, there's a reason you were given that idea to create it. and there's someone or some people out there that idea is meant for. It is not yours. So when you keep it because you don't think it's good enough for other people to see it, you're holding back what is not yours. You're holding back what God wants to show or give to humanity through you. The next thing you need to know about developing grit is putting in the work. We must put in the work, which is what I've been speaking about. You must put in the work. There's nothing you would, you must put in the work. You must put in the work. I just spoke about how the BTS boys would work for 12 to 15 hours a day. And some of them will get just 2 hours of sleep every day. Do you know what it means to just get 2 hours of sleep every day? I don't even think I'll survive not getting 2 hours of sleep. Although I get to lose sleep for my work, but not, 2 hours. The next thing you need to do is stay positive. Use positive words. Affirmations are a great way to stay positive. Sometimes the situation around you does not even give you a reason to be positive. A week before my birthday, my last birthday, I went through a period of melancholia for almost a week. Now, because I practice mindfulness, somehow I always know when these emotions are about to come, and I always prepare myself to be able to deal with it and get through it so it doesn't overwhelm me. I think this time around, my emotions reminded me again that I was human. Yes, coaches also need coaches. Therapists need therapists. Doctors need medical attention sometimes. Pastors need prayers. The fact that someone is a particular place in his or her life doesn't mean that you don't get to, struggle with all the negativities and the negative emotions and all that. You get to still, go through them. But because you're more aware and more experienced and more knowledgeable about your emotions and your feelings, you're able to deal with it or handle it better. Don't speak what you see that is not in tandem with your goals. Speak what you want to see and stay true to it. I watched an interview of Tom Holland, the guy who played Spider-Man. And guess what? When they showed interviews from 10 years earlier, I think, or maybe, I don't know, but from years earlier, and they had asked him at an interview what superhero he would love to play, and he said Spider-Man. They asked him who his celebrity crush was, and he said Zendaya. At the time, I don't think he had met her. Today, fast forward 10 years later, or maybe less than, but I think almost 10 years later, he's played Spider-Man and he's dating Zendaya. Now, talk about being positive about what you want to see. Being positive about speaking what you want to see into your life. When you speak what you want to see, when you're positive, optimistic, knowing that whatever your situation is right now, it's not what it's going to be tomorrow. It's not what it's going to be next tomorrow. And you speak positive words into your future. It's like you're speaking into a bank. It's going to yield interest. And then at the end of the day, you're going to enjoy the fruits of those words, because the words we speak are life. So apart from putting in the work, setting the goals, knowing your why, you must speak the right words. You must use your words to create the reality you're looking for. And then finally, hang out with gritty people. Yes, I call them gritty people. So hang out with other people who approach life the way you approach it. Because it's easier to drag somebody down the ladder than up the ladder. So if you're someone who has decided that you want to take up the grit nature, you want to have a gritty mentality, then hang out with other people who have the same mentality, who don't play with their work, who are passionate about what they do, who would go against all odds to make things happen, who are optimistic, who are positive about life. Because if you have a pessimist around you who talks down every idea you bring, then it's going to be very difficult for you to keep pushing forward. Because regardless of how positive and optimistic you are, if you let negativity keep seeping into your spirit, at some point, it's going to creep up on you and become a part of you. Also, that is why it's very important for us to be careful what we let in, the kind of energy we let around us, and what we let into our spirit. So, I'm sure that you're getting excited about grit, just like I am so super excited about it, and I've made it a part of my life, my mantra, my prayer, what drives and motivates me every single day. So you need to understand that beyond your talent and your intelligence, grit is what will get you there. If you want to thrive, if you want to experience enormous success, extraordinary success, that kind of success that will make you stand out, Grit is what you need. That is why Elon Musk is where he is today. That is why Bill Gates is where he is today. That is why Apple is what it is today, even long after Steve Jobs is gone. Grit is what makes you extraordinary. They say the grave is the richest place on earth. Why? Because a lot of talents that were never used are buried there. Now, without grit, talent is just an unmet potential. As long as you don't put your talent to work, it's only a potential you have. Until that talent is put to work and you begin to achieve the extraordinary, that talent is an unmet potential. So, you want to achieve the extraordinary, then make grit your new best friend. If you have any questions or contributions, we can continue the conversations in my comment section or on my social media handles. Feel free to get in touch with me. I look forward to another interesting episode with you. Bye-bye.